please? My wife is still pregnant. Don't touch her. Ah. The man knelt on the ground and begged the four men, but the four men didn't seem to hear them, and they pressed the pregnant woman to the ground and performed round. A shocking demonic tragedy occurred in a small village in Feixian County, Shandong Province. This small village is quiet and peaceful on weekdays, and the villagers live in harmony. There has never been such a cruel incident. A newlywed couple became the innocent victims of four young murderers, whose average age was only 20 years old, young and full of evil hearts. The wife was in her third trimester, and her hopes of future motherhood were brutally destroyed. She was gang-raped by the murderers for as long as 8 hours, and finally, she couldn't bear it and died. Her eyes were full of endless pain and despair, and even the last moment of her life did not get a breath. The husband was forced to witness all this, and his heart was so stimulated that he completely collapsed. Tears streamed down his face, his eyes filled with pain and powerlessness. He couldn't believe what was happening before his eyes. They had just started a happy life, and now everything was ruined. The criminals were not satisfied with just being violent to the couple. They even more cruelly forced the husband to prepare a table of food for them. The tables were filled with delicacies and wines of all colors and flavors, forming a disgusting scene in sharp contrast to the murder scene. The husband's hands trembled. He swallowed the bitterness in his throat and forced himself to put on a normal expression. Before proceeding, if you want to buy this beautiful digital multipurpose clock for home decor, just click the link in the description and get up to 48% off. Let's back to the story. The murderers enjoyed the delicious food with a smile on their faces, revealing evil and perversion. They enjoy the pain and destruction of innocent lives. They are ruthless demons who have completely lost their humanity. After satisfying their disgusting desires, the murderers began to loot all the belongings in the couple's home. They brutally tore up the photos of the couple, tore all the precious memories into pieces, and then threw them wantonly. Not even the pet dog was spared. It fell victim to their evil desires and was mercilessly killed. The whole village was immersed in endless grief and anger, and the residents could not understand why such cruel people existed. They gathered in front of the couple's home, mourning the innocent lives and praying that such a tragedy would never happen again. The police quickly intervened in the investigation. They vowed to bring the four murderers to justice and let them get the punishment they deserved. Newlyweds. Their wedding was held in Feixian County, Shandong Province, and the whole wedding banquet scene was beautifully decorated. Rows of beautiful flowers were arranged in the venue. The breeze blew and the fragrance of flowers permeated the air, adding romance and warmth to the whole scene. Sun Gang and Li Hong wore gorgeous wedding dresses and gowns, with happy smiles on their faces, and their deep love for each other was revealed in their eyes. At the wedding, relatives and friends came to the stage to send blessings and blessings. Some friends performed wonderful performances, which made the atmosphere warm and joyful. Sun Gang and Li Hong deeply felt the blessings and love from their relatives and friends. Their faces were filled with happy smiles and their hearts were full of gratitude. After the wedding, Sun Gang became a chef in a restaurant, and he was busy working on the stove every day, showing his love and talent for cooking. He is good at innovation and often incorporates his own unique ideas into the dishes, which makes the dishes of the restaurant attract the praise of many diners. Sun Gang always has a satisfied and proud smile on his face because he knows that his hard work has added an extra income to their lives. At the same time, Li Hong opened a food stall at the intersection, and she skillfully made all kinds of delicious snacks with her dexterous hands. She always treats every customer with a smile, and her friendliness and enthusiasm attract many people to taste her food. Whenever someone praises her craftsmanship, Li Hong will have a bright smile on her face, and she feels that her efforts have been recognized and rewarded. Although Sun Gang and Li Hong are not rich, they have created a sweet life together with each other's deep love and care. Every day, Sun Gang will prepare a delicious breakfast for Li Hong after busy work. He will personally cook a bowl of hot soybean milk, fry some golden and crispy fried dough sticks, and Li Hong's favorite scrambled eggs. And Li Hong would pat her belly lightly after breakfast and said to Sun Gang with a smile, "Thank you, dear. You made me feel the warmth and happiness of my family." After Li Hong became pregnant, this care became even stronger. Every morning, they would go to Mama Sun's house for breakfast together to ensure Li Hong's nutrition and good mental state. Mother Sun prepared a sumptuous breakfast, and the table was full of various delicacies. Li Hong's eyes were full of joy, and she felt the love and care of her family. Her mother-in-law patted her stomach tenderly, her eyes full of anticipation and blessings, which made Li Hong more sure that she had a happy family. Sun Gang and Li Hong lived a peaceful and comfortable life as usual. Every morning, they wake up in the warm sunshine to welcome a new day. The birds are singing cheerfully outside the window, and the sound of rice ears swaying in the rice fields makes people feel peaceful and comfortable. Their small bungalow is located next to a beautiful rice field, surrounded by lush greenery, flowers and trees adorning the whole environment. Looking out from the balcony, you can see the green hills in the distance and the clear river shimmering faintly under the sunlight. Although the location of the house is slightly remote, it is this pleasant environment that allows them to enjoy the freedom and sense of security brought by independent living. During the day, the streets are full of life and lively scenes. Children in colorful clothes frolicked in the rice fields, and their laughter echoed throughout the neighborhood. Neighbors chatted and laughed in the sun, exchanging the latest crop harvest and family anecdotes. Sun Gang and Li Hong often join this warm little community and share their joys, sorrows, and joys with their neighbors. However, as night fell and the darkness of the countryside enveloped the entire area, Sun Gang and Li Hong's house also appeared more deserted and quiet. In order to increase the safety of living, they decided to build a high fence outside the house. The wall is made of solid stone, giving it a sense of security and solidity. A set of advanced monitoring camera system is installed on the wall, and the lens of the camera is cleverly hidden in the wall, so it is not easy to be noticed. After the fence was built, Sun Gang and Li Hong felt more at ease and reliable about their own safety. When night falls, the camera's infrared light cuts through the darkness and illuminates an area around the fence. At this moment, they can clearly see everything within the monitoring range of the camera, and the existence of the fence also makes them feel peaceful and protected. However, on an ordinary day, fate suddenly turned around. One day, Mother Sun saw that her son and daughter-in-law hadn't come to eat, so she found the couple's home. Mama Sun stood at the door of her son and daughter-in-law's house, her heart beating wildly. She held the vegetable basket tightly in her hand, which was filled with the sumptuous meals she had carefully prepared. She was looking forward to the warm smiles of her son and daughter-in-law and the joy of their family reunion. However, time passed by every minute and every second, but there was no movement. Mother Sun began to feel uneasy. She called her son, but heard no answer. She dialed her daughter-in-law's number again, but there was also no response. This sudden silence made her worry even more. Driven by worry, Mama Sun decided to go to the home of her son and daughter-in-law in person. She left her home in a hurry and hurried to their residence. Mother Sun had an ominous premonition in her heart. She quickened her pace and kept praying that everything was safe. When she walked into the compound, She was stunned by what she saw. The gate stood wide open, like a ruined fortress. The yard was covered with pools of blood, and the corpses of dogs were scattered, showing signs of ravages. Mother Sun's heart tightened suddenly, and she felt a nameless fear spread from the top of her head to her whole body. Although her heart was full of fear, Mama Sun stepped into the house resolutely. Her steps trembled, her eyes anxiously searched every corner. Everything looked disorganized, with furniture overturned and objects strewn about, as if it had been in a terrible struggle. However, Mama Sun's gaze finally stopped on the plate of untouched braised pork on the table. She frowned, because her daughter-in-law seldom ate meat after she became pregnant. "Why do you cook braised pork?" Deeper uneasiness surged in her heart, and endless guesses emerged in her mind. Mother Sun was so anxious that she walked into the bedroom of her son and daughter-in-law, only to see that the room was in a mess. The furniture had been pushed down, and the clothes were scattered all over the floor. Her heart sank, her eyes scanned every corner of the room, and she suddenly noticed some blood on the ground. She immediately felt a wave of fear and uneasiness, realizing that things might be worse than she had imagined. Worried emotions drove Mama Sun to quickly pick up her mobile phone and make an emergency call. Shortly after, the police arrived at the scene. They inspected the room carefully and found that the camera's cord had been cut. The discovery aroused suspicion from police, who came to believe it could be a break-and-break. The police decided to launch an exhaustive investigation. They reviewed nearby surveillance video and found images of what appeared to be a suspect vehicle. In addition, they found a large withdrawal record in the bank accounts of their son and daughter-in-law, which made them think that the case might involve financial disputes. As the investigation deepened, the police found traces of fierce fighting and more blood in the room. This evidence further confirmed the police's speculation that it seemed that someone had a fierce struggle with the unidentified intruder in the room. Police launched a sweeping search operation covering the surrounding area. They scoured the backgrounds of their son and daughter-in-law and talked to neighbors for any possible leads. They also contacted local hospitals and clinics to see if anyone had been treated for injuries related to the case. In the next few days, the police devoted a lot of manpower and resources to solve this mystery. The case was widely reported in the media, generating public attention and concern. Mama Sun waited anxiously for the news, her mood constantly swinging between hope and fear. By the side of a nearby river, red plastic bags salvaged by the police attracted crowds of onlookers. The surrounding villagers and passers-by were curious about this sudden incident and stopped to watch. The police team worked intensely and focused. They carefully opened the bag and unveiled the mysterious item. When the red plastic bag was opened, the clothes inside exuded a pungent smell, which attracted the attention of the police. They scrutinized each item of clothing, looking for any clues that might relate to the case. Clothes are stained and torn and appear to have been through a serious struggle. The police team did not give up. They decided to continue the search, hoping to find more clues. During the search, one of the police officers found a pair of Sun Gang's pants, which still had some mud and blood stains on them. This sent the police team's nerves to a head, knowing it was an important discovery. The officers further checked the pockets of the trousers, hoping to find more clues. Their eyes focused on the corner of the trouser pocket because there was a Dibao card hidden there. However, they found that the ID information on the Dibao card belonged to a man a few kilometers away. Confused by this discovery, they realized that there may be more people and hidden conspiracies involved in the case. Meanwhile, at police headquarters, other officers were poring over surveillance video near the scene of the incident. They gathered in front of the surveillance screen, staring at the images of 4 suspicious people. These 4 people, dressed in the clothes of street gangsters, have been wandering around Sun Gang and his wife's house. Their behavior seems extremely suspicious. The police officers pointed to the pictures on the screen and exchanged their observations and guesses from time to time. The police immediately launched a comprehensive investigation operation, hoping to find out the identities of these suspicious persons and their connection with the case. They consulted relevant files and databases and conducted extensive background checks and lead analysis. The police officers split up and went to various possible locations to find the target and conduct interrogation. After some patient and meticulous work, the police finally determined that the owner of the subsistence allowance card was the grandfather of one of the suspects. The name of this old man is Fu Daguang. He is old and in poor health, and he looks slightly aging. The police searched Fu Daguang's home, hoping to find evidence related to the case. Fu Daguang's residence is simple and messy, and it seems that it has not been cleaned for a long time. Officers searched the room and found a number of suspicious items and documents. They examined each item carefully, noting all possible clues. Fu Daguang was unable to provide much information due to his poor health, but the police believed he might know something related to the case. The police further learned that Fu Daguang had a disobedient son named Fu Gang. After Fu Gang dropped out of school, he indulged in a life of idleness, playing games in internet cafes almost every day. This information aroused the police's strong interest in Fong Gang, who believed that he might be an important person in the case. The police decided to launch an investigation against Gang and conducted investigations in various internet cafes. They observed Fu Gang's actions and got in touch with the internet cafe staff. Gradually, some evidence and clues began to surface, and the mystery of the case was gradually revealed. The police salvaged the clothes of Sun Gang and Li Hong's couple in the river and immediately launched a carpet search near the river. They searched every possible hiding place carefully, and a tense atmosphere enveloped the entire police team. Near an abandoned water station, the police found a dried bloodstain. The bright red color was particularly frightening in the barren environment. Bloodstains stretched from the ground to a cave not far from the village. The police launched a detailed investigation of the cave, and a tense atmosphere enveloped the hearts of every police officer. Dim lights cast eerie shadows, and the cave was filled with bursts of rancid smell, which made people shudder. Walking through the narrow passage, the police carefully avoided slippery stones and standing water on the ground. The damp atmosphere felt dull, and the moisture from the walls seeped into their skin, making them even more agitated. Suddenly, a pungent smell penetrated their nostrils, and a piece of dried blood came into view. The blood was bright red, and the frozen traces were soaked with evil and cruelty. The police immediately moved on in the direction of the bloodstains, with endless suspicion and worry in their hearts. As they went deeper into the cave, the blood on the walls became more scarlet. There is a horrible atmosphere in the gloomy cave, and it seems that some kind of ulterior secret is hidden. The police are cautious in every step, alert to possible sudden danger. Finally, they found the bodies of Sun Gang and Li Hong at a corner. This cruel scene made the police almost unbearable. A painful expression was left on Sun Gang's face. There were 3 deep wounds on his head, and the blood had solidified to form a blood clot. There was also a blood-stained knife stuck in his chest, and the blood flowed down the blade, shrill and terrifying. Li Hong's body was abused beyond recognition. The toothpick was deeply inserted into her skin, and countless red and swollen marks formed a terrifying picture. Her private parts were also brutally tortured, and the sight of a bloody mess is disgusting. Sun Gang's mother burst into tears, and she fell powerlessly to the ground, her body trembling. The police officers felt an invisible heavy oppression in their hearts, and the scene before them made them deeply saddened and angry. The police immediately launched a tense investigation and conveyed the suspect's information to various units. Fu Gang became a key suspect, buying a bus ticket and seemingly planning to flee. The police decided to set up a stop on the way he might pass by and launched a comprehensive arrest operation. After several days of hard work, the police finally succeeded in arresting Fu Gang and 3 other suspects in a remote place. The bloodstains of Sun Gang and Li Hong were found on the clothes on their bodies, which became conclusive evidence. The truth of the tragedy gradually surfaced. It turned out that the murderers took advantage of the depth of the cave and the location far from the village to carry out brutal murders. They tortured Sun Gang and Li Hong with unimaginable means and committed inhuman atrocities. The police launched a rigorous interrogation of the suspects and finally revealed their criminal motives. Murderer review case. The 4 met in an internet cafe, and they were kicked out because they had no money to use the internet, and then they wanted to steal some money. Suddenly, they saw Li Hong's photo, and they had evil thoughts. When the couple came back, they knocked them out and tied them up. Sun Gang gang-raped Li Hong. Later, Sun Gang wanted to resist and was stabbed to death. He was afraid that Li Hong would be killed if he was found out. Final judgment. Fu Gang, Zhang Xuejuan, and Wang Jiaying were sentenced to death, and Zhao Feng was sentenced to 22 years in prison because he was a minor.